Uh, 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 uh. It's the urban therapy with Son show. My name is Son 752. You know how we go. Sunday, NFL Sunday, the first one. Are you ready, son? I know I am. I know scam ever. We going to get into this endeavor, this work today on this beautiful Sunday. On the Urban Therapy with Sun Show, we are talking about dealing with not doing it right. I should have said dealing with not being able to do it right. Dealing with not being able to do it right. Have you ever, I don't want to say, have you ever been a failure or something? I don't want to say that, but have you ever tried to do something that you really wanted to do, tried to be good at something that you really wanted to be good at, and weren't able to be as good as you wanted to be? You know, you weren't as good at it as you set out to be. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you weren't meant to do it, or it doesn't mean that you may have stopped doing it, but you just may not have been the blossoming plant or flower that you really wanted to be. You know, like it could have started off younger when you were interested in sports. A lot of boys, a lot of girls too are interested in sports when they're growing up. You know what I mean? I know how it is when you're a young boy out there playing football, basketball, baseball, whatever. We played all the four. Well, no, I was about to say we played all the four major sports when I was growing up, but we ain't never played no hockey. I ain't gonna front. I don't remember ever playing hockey when I was growing up. So that's not just this, having to buy hockey sticks and all that gear and all that kind of stuff. That's just not something that was popular around the way. But as far as basketball, football, and baseball were concerned, we played that almost every day. A variety of the at least 2 out of 3 every day. And so, if you played football and couldn't catch, you know what I'm saying? You got ridiculed because you always got picked late. When it was when the captains of the team picked their players and you got picked late, you knew it was because you weren't that good of a player. They always picked the really good players early. So you may have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced trying to get better, but maybe you just couldn't catch. Maybe you just couldn't throw. What kind of mess is that? You want to be quarterback, but you don't really have no arm. You don't really have no arm. So it's one of those things. Playing basketball and you really don't know how to dribble, you really don't know how to shoot. It's one of those things. You know how popular basketball is of a sport in the black community. If we don't do nothing, we're gonna play some basketball. Well, not everybody is good at basketball. Even a lot of tall people that are supposed to be good in basketball, because people always think that because you're tall, you should be playing basketball. But a lot of tall people cannot play basketball. They may not have any coordination. They might not have the stamina. They can't play. You ain't got no handle. You can't do it. Same thing with the little guys that'll shoot your lights out, dribble. They low to the ground, so they dribble. You can't strip them. But nonetheless, having to accept that you're not as good at something, or that you're not good at something that you've been trying to be good at, is not an easy thing to do. And this can span into a lot of different areas of your life. This can go in a lot of different areas of your life. You know what I mean? When you really want to be good at something that you're not really that good in, it can really be demoralizing. It can bring you down a little bit, especially if you're caught up in your own head and you're worried about who's looking and who's judging instead of concentrating on working on your craft. You know what I mean? You trying to get better for other people instead of getting better for yourself. And then we have getting better for yourself. Getting better for yourself. Being satisfied with what you do, regardless of what other people think about what you do. That can go a variety of ways. It sounds like that should bring you a lot of confidence, but it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you may have accepted that you do things a certain way, regardless of what anybody else thinks, because you know that you can't please them with what you have done. So it might be one of those things like, man, I don't have to be good for you. God know I'm good. And it might not be the case that you're actually good. And just like in school, the method that we used to test whether you knew the learning materials was to give you a test. All right, so you know the stuff that we covered in class. It's time for you to take this exam, take this test, take this quiz. So you can say all day that you know the material. If you can't pass that test, then you can't pass those classes. And those are the requirements to be able to prove what you know. And that's whether you like it or not. So you can accept that or reject that. You ain't getting through school without passing some tests. For some people, they have to pass some tests. But anyway, so outside of school, the test that you may have to pass is competition. Well, you say that you're good at something. All right. Me against you. Let's see what you can do. Me against you. Let's see what you can do. I said, me against you. Let's see what you can do. You said you're good enough. What is it good enough for the crew? Me and you. You see what you can do. I said, me and you. Let's see what you can do. I said, me and you. Let's see what you can do. Yeah, you say you're good at it, but will it pass the test of the crew? Well, some people really welcome competition, and some people shy away from competition. Some people are really good at things that they aren't that good at competing for. Some people really get shy or get a stage fright when they have to perform in front of a bunch of people. But that kind of competition in front of other people kind of separates the men from the boys. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make it this way. But that's your test. Just like in school, you had to prove that you knew the material by passing the exams. Well, you may have to prove that you know how to do something well in your personal life by entering a competition, competing against others who are as good as you. Now, when you compete against others, it kind of says whether you're good or not. And that level of competition may say a lot too. That level of competition might be like, okay. Now, you might be good against them, but you're not good against the best of the best. Yeah, anybody who has competed in sports or recreation of some type or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. When you have to be on that stage in front of everybody. Like I remember, I used to be really good at spelling. I'm actually not as good at it as I used to be, but I did. I used to be really good at spelling. So all of the class spelling bees, I used to be able to win them. I used to win spelling bees in the class. But when I got on that stage in front of everybody, it used to be like, I remember one time I won the class spelling bee. And this was in 8th grade, mind you. So I won the class spelling bee, and it was time to compete in the school spelling bee. So I'm telling everybody, I'm about to slay this shit. Can't nobody spell better than me. Well, I said, come to find out. Well, first of all, let's get this over with. I was the first one out. The first one out, and I was pissed because it was an easy word. And at the time I said that, I would never forget this word because it wasn't a word that I had any business not spelling right. But I got nervous, and I was the first one out. And but I kept watching the competition afterwards, and it seemed like they were getting even easier words than I was getting. But as that time went on, and it got down to the last finalist, those words that they were spelling was off the chain. There were words that I never heard before. I'm like, how am I supposed to know how to spell this? It was crazy. So I realized, like, yeah, in front of, when I'm competing against these guys, yeah, I can beat all of them. But when it's time to go against the best of the best, I need to practice more. I need to get into it. And I learned a lot about the way that competition works at that time through that experience. So what I learned was, yeah, you may think that you're good because you're good against the same competition or against easy competition. But when it comes to really, really being good at something, you have to get into it. You have to engulf yourself into it. You have to really, really test how well you are, how well you do something. And you probably need coaches and teachers and people who are in that area that can really, really get you up to speed. So it's just like the cat that he's really good at basketball, on the playgrounds and maybe even at school and all of that kind of stuff. But when he goes to basketball camp and he's playing basketball camp, football camp, they have camps for every sport. So when you go to those camps, those are people who are trying to do this stuff for a living. Those kids ain't playing around. They're not just doing this for fun. And you may have just been doing it for fun and beating everybody with your natural ability. Well, this ain't going to work. Your natural ability ain't going to have you ready to rock out with these cats. So you learned a lot about that kind of stuff. And I learned a lot about that competition. And I learned to keep my mouth shut, before I get into a competition. Kinda. What up, Stacy White? What up, V to B? Stacy says, yes, I have been a failure. Wow. I hadn't put it that way. A failure? Okay. And she says, you can't be a leader and then don't admit when you're wrong sometimes. Unfortunately, I know a lot of leaders who don't take accountability. Donald Trump still has millions and millions of people who support him, and he has never admitted defeat or failure or wrong. And think about it, he has never admitted that he was wrong about anything. I think that's weird. I don't even know how you can follow somebody who never admits that they didn't do something right. But anyway, Stacey also says, I don't compete against something that's mine. I'm not tempted by something that's mine. Okay. Vita. What's going on? So, oh yeah. When we start talking about competition, well, it will decide whether you really are good at something or not. Now, well, hold on. Let me slow that down, because it won't say that just because you lose in a competition doesn't mean that you're not good. But you will have to admit that you're not good at competing. You may be the best at doing something when there's no pressure, when you have enough time, but when you are in a competition, time is of the essence. Whether you have only a few minutes, some hours, or days, or deadline to meet, whatever, you have a time in which you need to be able to do whatever it is that you say that you do well or that you're competing with. So, like Vita says, I was always a competitive person. Yeah, you may have grown up in in an environment where people were challenging each other all the time. Shoot, I know I did. Around my way, it was competition all the time. Sports, like the girls, they used to jump double dutch. Those competitions, they used to, what I mean? It was competition everywhere. I'm the best. I'm the best. People wanted to be the best. And I always, people who didn't want to compete, you look at them a little, I ain't going to say you look at them sideways, but you might. Like, yeah, you say you all that, but when it comes down to it, you scaredy cat. You ain't ready. Some people get turned off by competition because it can be heartbreaking. People don't like to lose. And losing in front of other people is a humbling experience. But I tell you what, once you have lost in front of other people, it'll make you a better person because you realize that this is the way the world works. You ain't going to be the best all the time. You ain't going to be the best all the time in front of everybody. There's always somebody out there that's better than you. And you don't have to accept that somebody is better than you, but you will have to accept that you ain't going to win this day. You might have to go back to the drawing board. Team sports, you can always say that it was the other people on the team that stopped you from being able to win. Well, that's not a team player, though. And if you're going to be competing in team sports, other than if you're Michael Jordan, you're going to have to accept that other people have to get their shine also. Rita says, I played softball 6 years and marching band, but I can admit I am a sore loser. You know what? I'm gonna tell you like this. I ain't even mad at people who are sore losers because being a sore, but there are levels, because some people are sore loser and they are sabotage artists. So you might be a sore loser and you mess it up for everybody, or you stop everybody else or anybody else from being able to celebrate their win. That I can't get with. But being mad at yourself and not wanting to lose. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the stuff that champions are made of. Like, no, I will not accept defeat. I will not accept defeat. I'm going to make sure that I get this thing going. But what happens for the people who aren't that good at something? How are they going to win a championship? Easily. Be Robert Horry. Not that Robert Horry wasn't good, because he helped those championship teams win those damn championships directly because of Robert Horry. That damn Robert Horry. He be where the champions be. And he be shooting them threes at the right time. Stacey says, they come at me with too much ego. Well, yeah. Ego, overconfidence. Well, ego. I don't see how you can be really good at something and able to compete well at something and your ego. I'm not saying that your ego will be out of check, but being good at something is what builds confidence. Ain't no way around that. You can't be confident at something you know you can't do. What are you confident about? And some people who aren't good at things, they just be like, yeah, but I'm doing it though. Yeah, but I'm here. I ain't even mad at that. Because getting the balls up to do something, to try again and again and again and again and again, that's not easy to do. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Cheryl likes to compete. She's a competitor. She'd be like, nah, let's get it on. Vita says, even when my brother would make me work out in my teens, I hated it because I sucked at it. But today I appreciate it. Sometimes when something new is introduced to you, it may not even be that you're not that good at it, but you might not like it, so you want to get it over with quick. And nothing gets on your nerves more than having to ride out the process of something that you don't like. You be trying to find every little shortcut, every excuse to get out of it, telling them you do it tomorrow, you'll do it later, and all of that. And when somebody won't let you get out of it, you be like, man, damn. But then you understand the way the world works. Speaking of work, at work, you cannot make them 8 hours go faster than 8 hours take. But you might be able to do something that keeps you busy enough to make the 8 hours seem like it, it ain't 8 hours, but it is 8 hours. Vita says, I get mad losing Uno. I hate losing at Uno. You know how when you about to scream Uno, and then somebody else scream Uno, and then somebody make you draw two or change the color. Like I got this red in my hand, and the color on the board is red. There's too many people playing this game of Uno because the dude across from me just screamed Uno, and my time is coming up. And somebody that made me draw two, you mother, and now that person is out. Yeah, I don't be liking that. And Uno players be having too much ego. People who win at Uno and pity pat be talking too much shit. Now tell me I'm lying. People who play Uno and pity pat be talking too much shit. And I be wondering how they keep winning. They cheating. That's how. That's how they keep winning. They cheating. Vita says my daughter cheats at Uno. See? He cheating. Hiding cards and shit. Trying to go out without screaming Uno. But like, wait a minute. Talking about something. I'm out. I don't remember you I'm not saying Uno. But you got to catch them. Well, it depends on how you play. Some people you play with might let you go out because they got to catch you not saying Uno when you dealt out your next to the last card. Some people will let you go ahead and go out. Not the people I play with. They be like, you ain't scream Uno. You need to pick up them 4 cards. Shirley Cheryl said, I talk smack all the time. Facts. And she says, most of the time, I can back it up. Facts. Anyway, yeah. So, but anyway, accepting that you're not that good at something. It ain't easy to do for everybody. And there are different areas that you might really want to be good at something that you might not be good at, and it can break your heart. Like, and I ain't trying to get on no freaky shit, but you might not be good at sex. And nothing, well, I ain't gonna say nothing, because some people seem to deal with it all right. But when you really want to please your partner, you want to please your woman or your man, and you can't do it. That ain't a good look. It ain't. That ain't a good look. Now, where do you practice having sex? Where do you practice? And nobody wants to think that they dick or they ass is trash. Don't nobody want to think that. Now, for all of the women and men in your life before, you might have been that dude or that chick You might come up, you might get with somebody that you really like and you really want to please them, and something ain't right. And you know it ain't right. Like, well, are you going to accept that that you can't please them, or are you going to do something about it? Because there is something you can do about it. Like, you can, how about asking them what they like? You know what I mean? It's a form of practice. Well, what do you like? What can I do? What can I do to please you? Like, show me. You know, um, I mean, I'm sure that they want to enjoy the experience too. Don't nobody want to. Don't nobody want to be sighing every time it's time for y'all to do it. Like, all right, come on, we can do it. You don't want that. You don't want that. You know, man. You hear women complaining all the time how they man can't hold a nut. Just keeping it real. He can't hold a nut. And he don't know what he doing. He don't really know what he doing. Some dudes, by the accounts of some of the women, some dudes, you know, I don't know. I guess they've gotten comfortable that they can't please their woman, or maybe they made them think that they do please. I don't know. I don't know. I know just about every woman has been with a man that didn't really please them sexually. Now, if they man has accepted that he just can't do it, I don't know. That's something that y'all have to work out. But there are plenty of women who suck in bed too, and you hardly ever will, get them to admit it. But it definitely, it happens. It happens. Trashy ass, trashy ass. I mean, she might be like, well, yeah, I might not be the queen of the bedroom, but I can cook. Well, what if you can't cook? What if your man ain't greedy? What if? 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 Vita says, "Dang, I haven't played Pity Pat in a minute. Old school, yeah. I don't know about the other places, but Pity Pat is a big game in Philly. I don't know, is it because it's fast? It's an easy way to make fast money because people play Pity Pat for money all the time. It's a it's like a dice game. It's a fast way to make money at cards. No long drawn out games. It'd be over with quick. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. You know what I mean? It's a quick come up. And Pity Pat don't get boring. That's the thing about it. It never gets boring. Um, what I'm wrong for, Stacy? I mean, it's just these are facts. I mean, I mean, many a nigga has had to submit to the fact that his dick is trash. He don't know what he doing. I'm like, nigga, watch some pornos or something. Do something. You know what I mean? Like, Rita says, y'all, I'm at the grocery store. The line's so long. I have two items. Would I be wrong not to do it? Would I be wrong to not do it right? Ah, shit. Stacy says, Omar, you look extra light today. Like what? My complexion? Well, these lights, I got real lights. I don't know how other people do they shows, they podcasts and all that kind of stuff. But I got real lights, so yeah. Like I could show y'all what it would be if I didn't have my setup the way it is. I can make this real dark. Okay. Like it could be a struggle. This is what y'all would see if my shit wasn't set up the way it is. What do you think? You see how low the video resolution and quality goes down? I don't look so light today, do I? I mean, right now, do I? So just to let y'all know, this is quality videography here, y'all. Quality. All right, get the lights back. On that side, get the lights back. On this side, ta-da! Yeah. Quality videography, son. Quality. He said, you got me crying over here. Hey, man, you know it's... Listen, man. Like I said, a lot of dudes out here, they know they dick is trash. They know it. Now, I mean, have they accepted that? Are they bad with every woman? Probably not. Everybody ain't the same. He might have been a champion with some of them, but if that's not who he with right now, said you went from champion to challenger. You know, same thing with women. They might have been really, really good at something with other men that they dealt with, and they might with somebody else, they might suck. Cheryl said, I just kicked some butt in I Declare War. Now, see, that's a long ass game. War. I don't know how you kick butt in war because it takes so long. It takes so long to win. Cheryl says, I don't know. If it's not being done right, I'll have to get up and go. Vita says, agree, Stacy. He looking light. Well, y'all saw what y'all see what I did. It sure says quality way better than crappy. I'm saying. You know what I mean? I be watching other podcasts and all that kind of stuff, and they be using a ring light. And you know how you know they using a ring light? When they wear glasses, they be wearing glasses on their shit, and you can see the ring light in they lenses. I be like, I be like, did you mean? I know they didn't mean for us to see that, but I be knowing. I be like, you using a ring light, amateur. Amateur, you ain't got no real light side. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, things like sex, things like sports, you know, they're things that if you're not good at them, it can affect other people more than you. You know, another thing that some people aren't good at that they really should work on, and maybe they know that they're not good at it, but they may have accepted that they're not good at it. Parenting. Some people are really bad at parenting. I got to get a new prescription, y'all. For real. Because I see better with my glasses off than I do on. So it might be time to step up that well, hold on, let me try these. Let me try these. Let me try these. Either that or my eyes, because I've spent so much time without wearing glasses, maybe my eyes are starting to get better because I've strengthened the muscles in them. I don't know. Now these are progressive lenses, so idealistically, I'm supposed to be able to see better from far away. Forget it. Forget it. Okay. Sure says okay. This. She said okay just for that. I challenge you to a war. Peter says, I seriously feel people need to offer for others to go ahead with only 2 items. Now that's wrong. Cool. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. Cheryl said, and Cheryl said, LOL Vita, just my luck. I'll have 10 people behind me with 2 items, so I better not let one by. So yeah, like I said, parenting. Some people are really bad at parenting. You know, not every parent that had kids want to spend time with their kids, want to develop their kids. You know, some parents, expect their children to almost raise themselves. They expect them to know things that they haven't taught them. A lot of people who are parents haven't increased their knowledge base to be able to give their children more things to know, learn. You know what I mean? And you know what bad parenting can do to a child. It can have them resenting the way that they were raised. It can make a child rebel and wind up in jail or getting into bad relationships, abusive relationships. It can make them abusive towards others. Bad parenting can be horrible. Now, if you the type of bad parent that was neglectful, so you always was leaving your kids with somebody else, then you were basically leaving them in a position to be able to be abused by somebody else, molested, which is more abuse, like you, and you just didn't give them the familial and parenting experience that they're supposed to have just for being born. There are certain things that you are supposed to get just for being born. A child didn't ask to be born, but at least one of their parents decided that they should be born. And but you look at what happens. You look at what happens. Look at what happens. Now, you got a child that has all of these behavioral problems, all of these developmental problems, all of these social problems, and all because you wasn't even there. And nothing hurts a parent more than hearing their kids talk about how they wasn't there for them, they didn't help them, they didn't steer them in the right direction, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Parents don't want to hear that shit. And a lot of parents turn to the money that they gave out. You know how that goes. We all know somebody who is not really a good parent, is not really an attentive parent, is not really a caring and nurturing parent, is not even a disciplinarian parent. But one thing they do is they have a lot of money and they will pay for everything. So I've heard those parents talk so much shit. Man, I gave my kids everything growing up. They had everything from the Jordans to the game consoles to the phones to the this to the that, the clothes, the blah 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 blah. Yeah, you gave out all the money. You paid for everything, but you were never there. You know, your child might be like Vita or Cheryl or Care Bear. Maybe they played sports or some other kind of competition, and your parents don't show up. Yeah, they paid for the uniforms. Yeah, they paid for the trips out of town. Yeah, they paid for somebody else to take you to the games and bring you home from them, but they was never there. So you missed that support that they were looking for. You missed how they wanted to show you how good they were at something and how they could compete well at something. So you sucked at parenting. And by the way, I'm not saying that anybody's parent did that. I'm just using them as an example because I know that the three of y'all have played sports. So, and you know how kids want their parents to be there. I want to show my mom, I want to show my dad what I can do. I want to show them how good I am. It could have been a band. It could have been sports. You could have been in the math club. You could have been in the science club. You could have been in the English club, whatever. Whatever you compete at, you want your parents to be there, cheering you on. You know how parents be like, yeah, I mean, I came to see you in the choir. I swear to God, I couldn't hear nobody else's voice but yours. I couldn't hear nobody. You should be singing lead. You might not have been any good at singing. You was in the background, all the way in the background. But your parents will encourage you. A good parent will encourage you. Oh my God, you are so good. Blah, 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 blah. We need to get you some voice lessons. And you're going to be the next Whitney, the next Luther. You're going to be the next. That's what a good parent does. The parent that's, oh man, listen, I got to go to work. You know what I mean? I got to go make this money so I can blah, 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 blah. So you can have this blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, you made the money and you passed off the money. And now, when your children are complaining that you weren't there for them, that granny, Nana, Big Mama was the one that always took me everywhere, did everything. I was always over their house. Why do I have a whole room to myself at Big Mama house? Why? Why I got my own room in Big Mama house? Because that's where you are all the time. Either that or you slept in the bed with Big Mama every night. But you would rather have slept with your mom every night. So some people are bad at parenting. And the worst thing that you can do as a parent is accept that you're not that good at it. You going to just accept that you're not that good at parenting? You ain't going to work on that? They got books. They got books called parenting. Yeah, they got books on it. So you know how niggas is. Niggas want to be like, I don't need no white person telling me how to raise my kids. Yeah, actually, you probably benefit from it. Because the black people, I'm telling you how to raise your kids, you ain't listening to them either. And got the nerve to say when they 18, they on their own. Shit, they've been on their own since they was 4. Well, they wasn't all the way on their own. They was either at their grandma's house or their auntie house all the damn time. They was raised with their cousins like brothers and sisters. Why? Because that's where they lived at. Why? Because you ain't had time. You was out there making the bacon. But at home, you couldn't get it moving and shaking. And you was out there making it bacon. But at home, you couldn't get it moving or shaking. And you was out there making the bacon. But at home, you couldn't moving and shaking. Vita says, if my man not doing it right, I have learned to let him know. Good for you, because a lot of women won't. They'll just accept that, he ain't good at it. And, what I mean? She just going to have to take care. She going to have to literally take matters into her own hand when he's done later on. Maybe she don't want to make him feel bad that she pleases herself better than he pleases her. Some women don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? As soon as he get up off of her, she might reach for the tool. Don't mind me. I'm just finishing off. It's just me and my hormones taking care of business. That's all it is. No big deal. No big deal. You know what I'm saying? He says uncomfortable feeling when he thinks he's just conquered something when it was just a snack. Now, see, a man needs to hear this shit because you're right. Niggas can be running around here like I am the champion, and that's why it's not a good idea to fake orgasms with your man because he is thinking that he done finished. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. You ain't finished nothing. You know what I mean? You about to get a U put on this paper. What's this U? Well, it can mean unprepared, but in this case, it means unfinished. Unfinished. You, which stands for unprepared, unfinished. You didn't get it done. And like I wasn't gonna say nothing about this, but it ain't even, like it ain't even got nothing to do with your size necessarily. I mean, I know a lot of women, a lot of men put a lot of stock into how big a man is or whatever, you know what I mean, whether his dick is big or not. But to be honest with you, from the chicks that I know, I ain't gonna say all of them, but the majority of women that I know that have been with men who had a little dick, they ain't complained that he couldn't please her. He just wasn't, he just wasn't filling up the glass. The glass might have been half full, but he might have been a competition eater. He used to win eating competitions. He was either a competitive eater, or they say that a woman's all the sensitive good parts of a woman are up front anyway. So he might have just been tapping the G spot. He might not have been able to get no farther, but he tapping that joint. Meanwhile, dude might have had a big giant dick, and you know what I mean. Yeah, he was physically hurting her, but he wasn't pleasing her. I guess he figured that the screams was the same. I don't know. I've heard stories. I've heard plenty of stories about the small and the big and the small. So, yeah. But back to the parenting thing. Yeah, you don't want to leave the game accepting that you weren't good at parenting. There are too many ramifications, too many consequences, too many negative circumstances that will come about from not being a good parent. You don't want to accept that. I wouldn't I wouldn't encourage any parent to accept that they aren't a good parent. Now, being a great parent, that's all subjective anyway. That's that's for your kids to decide whether you're a great parent or not. But shit, I've known some kids to declare, yeah, I had the best mom in the world. And I'm looking like, yeah, but it's subjective. To her or him, he or she had the best mom. And it could have been just because their mom was there. Their mom was there. Shout out to the women out there that be like, I'll fight for my kids. You know, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I've known plenty of women who said, I'll fight for my kids, and they meant physically fighting. So yeah, they'll whoop any ass of anybody who talks mean to their kids or puts their hands on their kids. They'll whoop their ass, but they won't teach their kids shit. So let me get this straight. You'll fight for your kids, but you won't make them go to school? You will knock out your neighbor, because my mama and your mama were hanging up clothes. My mama punched your mama right dead in the nose. But you won't send your kids to school? You've accepted that they're not good in school, so they ain't got to go? Man. You must be crazy. But yeah, accepting that you're not a good parent. Nah, son. Nah. We're not doing that. Even though some people will do that. You said, why does a man need to be told this though? Because he don't know for sure. You think men figure out women easily? They don't. Y'all do a whole lot of. Think about what you just said, Vita. You ever notice that women always? Well, I ain't gonna say always, but a lot of women think that a man should know things that she has not verbalized or not told him. And it's not always it's not always sexual things or things that it could be just things that you like. Like, I don't see why you don't bring me home flowers and candy more often, or never do. I'm like, I didn't know you like flowers and candy. You never said nothing. But you figure that a man should know that all women like flowers and candy. Well, all women don't like flowers and candy. You might be a vegan or some shit, you know? But I tell you this. A closed mouth don't get fed, and a closed mouth don't give head. A closed mouth might not even get head, but he or she might also. But yeah, you don't really hear men saying that they woman should know this or they should know that, because we know that if we haven't told you, how the fuck you gonna know? So y'all kind of expect us to be mind readers, but we don't expect y'all to do the same thing. Well, if you want to train a dog, if you expect the dog to bring you your newspaper and slippers, he or she ain't going to do that on her own. You got to train them to do it. So why not train your man? You want to be pleased sexually and your man hasn't figured it out on his own? Tell him, I like this. Put your hand here. Lick over here. Stick on this side. Slow down. Speed up. Go deeper. Yeah, and you know what? The first time your man might feel some kind of way about it. But I bet you he want to get it right, though. If he dig you, he want to get it right. Shit, nothing make a man feel more powerful, special, and accomplished like being able to please his woman. Shoot, that's something that for some men, that's all they got. Yeah, I be dicking her down, like, you know what I mean, like nobody else. But I ain't got no money. I owe child support. I don't know how to fix nothing around the crib. I'm kind of worthless. But when them legs fly open, that's my lane right there. Nobody does it better. You know? For someone, I mean, honestly, I know that all the women on here have probably been with a dude that could fuck their brains out. He could fuck your brains out, but he wasn't good for shit else. Nigga might have been a straight bum. All dick and no brains. He figured out a way to be your good friend for at least an hour, maybe even the rest of the day. You know how it is. You know how some of y'all women are. Y'all get a little dick. Y'all ain't gonna complain for a few days. That'll hold you over for a few days. You know how it is. Not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. But shit happens. Anyway, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Urban Therapy with Son show. You know. But yeah. We about to get on about it here. About to do these birthday shout outs. You know what I mean? First football Sunday of the year. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this Super Bowl season to come through. And it starts today. And trust me, if some luck of the draw that we don't win today, just know that I will not be having a good day, night, or tomorrow, or the rest of the week. So that can't happen. You know, that just can't happen. We won't be accepting that. No. We won't be accepting that. All right, let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious September 10th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Stephanie Sanders. Happy birthday to you. And Digga Richburg, happy birthday to you. And Thomas Gothney, turning 53 years old today. And Ruth Almonte, happy birthday to you. And Olatan Omalayo Ayo Meji. Ayo Dimeji. There you go. And Hoester Bursey, turning 64 years old today. And Cicely Carr, happy birthday to you. And Tajanique Hamilton, turning 37 years old today. And my man going all the way back to like the 1991, Eshawn Wilson, turning 52 years old today. And last but not least, Tracy McKinnon Pickens, turning 56 years old today. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious September 10th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, remember, I remember the worries. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep me silent, so no, you don't fool me. Okay. Accepting that you're not that good at something is a humbling experience, but it's not the way that you start, it's the way that you finish. So even though you may not be physically or anatomically or even mentally or emotionally built to be able to handle something that you do, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. It doesn't mean that you have to give up. It doesn't mean that you won't get better. And it doesn't mean that you won't be able to compete. No, it doesn't. It also doesn't mean that you have to, that your whole ego or your whole sense of pride and confidence has to be built around what you know you can do well. There is something to be said about trying over and over and over again. You will figure it out. You may never be Michael Jordan because nobody else has been Michael Jordan. Nobody has won back-to-back championships, three-peats twice. Nobody has done that. Nobody has failed to lose a championship that has played in that many of them. However, nonetheless, you do what you can do. You do what you can do in that realm. You know what I'm saying? You just make it happen for you. Make it happen for you. You keep trying. When people see them trying to help themselves in some way, a lot of times they will jump in and help you help yourself even more. So let's get to that. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. I love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock for another daily Go Get 'Emism show. So make sure y'all come on through, and I appreciate y'all coming on through today. So make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. So I said so. Yeah. And you know how that go. I said so. I said so. Blog Talk, we gonna get you out of here. Yeah. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Peace. Yeah.